Hello, and welcome to a classic installment of Midnight Snacks with Clay. I'm, of course, your host, Steve. Um, this is my glorious Viking beard, complete with these wonderful braids. It's what I wish my beard had grown out to be, but I didn't have the time. It became too itchy. I want to encourage everybody to go ahead and write in the comment section because that will make this whole video a lot more easy to do. Get a nice glare off my glasses apparently. But welcome once more to Midnight Snacks with Clay. Tonight I will be eating umabushi plum. It is most likely the best part of it is going umabushi. I apologize for my glasses. Today I was wondering why my eyes felt weird, and I found out my contact had ripped inside my eye. And so my eye got agitated, so now I'm in glasses. But I don't want to eat my umabushi until we get going a little bit more, because it's supposed to be super sour. I think it'll be fun to do live. Adjust my camera so I'm not glaring so much. Now you can't see my horns. What nonsense is this? So, first, I will tell you a story of great importance and significance. And that is the story of one time when my friend Beef, whose name is Cody Caudle, he was with us last week. He got locked in the bathroom when we were at KCU together. So we shared this. We got this marriage student housing, but we got honors housing, but we were staying in the married students apartment building, basically. And you got to do that if you had your RA sign off that you were a good student and everything. And as soon as we found out that was a possibility, we were like, yes. Me and my roommate Jeremy, we were like, please, because we lived in Waters dormitory, and on the weekends, the bathroom, we had one like communal bathroom on each floor. The bathroom would get just a layer of water. I don't know why it wasn't draining properly or anything like that, but it would get this layer of water. And we would literally build bridges out of Little Caesar boxes so our feet wouldn't get wet when we had to walk through all of that. And so, given the chance, we moved to the apartment building where we could actually take care of our own needs and so on and so forth. So, we had two bathrooms. One was back in the master bedroom, and then one was kind of in the hallway. So I'm playing video games with my friend Jeremy, and all of a sudden I get a message from my friend Beef, and he was like, "Clay, help! I'm stuck in the bathroom." And I was like, "Stuck in the bathroom?" And I go back there, and sure enough, Beef is stuck in the bathroom and he can't get out. Our other roommate, who was very quiet and almost never, like, he wouldn't say very much, but he was devious sometimes, had taken pennies and stuffed them around the door to jam the door so Beef couldn't get the door unlocked. And so I'm trying to open the door, and it won't open because it's stuck. And he's like, "I'm so hot, Clay, help me. Because that's how Beef talks. And so finally I'm like, I gotta get Beef out of this room. And so I just start kicking the door over and over again. And the pennies start falling out, and finally enough pennies fall out that we can open the door. And when I opened the door, it was the weirdest sight I've ever seen. You could not see to the other side of the bathroom because there was so much steam. Apparently, Beef had no idea that there was such thing as an exhaust fan and hadn't turned it on. Not only had he not turned it on, but he also, for some reason, had gotten fully dressed and was wearing tennis shoes, jeans, a long sleeve shirt, a jacket, and a hat. Like, he had even put his hat on, and he was just sweating because he was fully clothed in the self-made sauna. And that was the worst. Like, him getting locked in the bathroom was one thing, but the fact that he had induced himself to this self-made sauna was just ridiculous and made me laugh really hard. So that's a silly story that happened to me. So in the comments, what are you all having for your midnight snack with Clay? I have a smorgasbord worth of snacks tonight. We have the umabushi thumbs. That's not very good. Ooh, umabushi. And I have Oreos, regular Pringles, sour cream and onion Pringles. I don't know if I'll eat them, but Amber and I found these weird tea cakes that feel soft, like made out of silk. It's weird, and they're gummy, and it was weird. And then also some beef jerky. I love beef jerky. And so when we were at Walmart and they had no toilet paper, I decided I would get beef jerky instead. So I don't know why it is not scrolling to show me all the comments. What are you? Oh, okay. Apparently, Steven is drinking peach tea. Colton had some Wayne's cheesecake earlier. Yesterday was Peyton's birthday, Colton's brother, and he got his second cheesecake. Do you know what Wayne's never given me? A cheesecake. I've worked there for 2 years, and I've loved on Wayne, and I do anything he needs, and I still don't have a cheesecake, and it's very sad. So please, start a campaign, a Kickstarter or something, to get Clay a cheesecake. I would very much appreciate it. Let's see. Annie is living large by eating a piece of bread. Good job, Annie. You eat that bread. I hope it wasn't just plain white bread, because that's nasty. Let's see. Jeremy Dean Coggins there. That's my roommate from college. I call him Big Papa. In case you're wondering, yes, I do have nicknames for many of my friends. That all started because one time someone came in and was like, hey, I need help with my printer. And Jeremy is a tech geek if there was ever a tech geek. He literally has a suitcase full of extra wires that he's just like, let me see if I can find something. And it's like a gnome. Like, he starts throwing out wires and all kinds of stuff. And he's like, if I connect this to this and this and this and this and this, then there, now we can do that. Anyway, I was like, I don't know where he is, but I like it. Or he likes it when you call him Big Papa. And so we call him Big Papa. I bought him a Smurf t-shirt that says Big Papa. And it's got Papa Smurf on it. Pretty great. Lenora, my sister-in-law, is eating Snickers and hazelnut M&Ms. That one's pretty good. That's hazelnut would be kind of like sorry, this beard's a little itchy. Hazelnut spread's really good. Oh, I didn't even notice that Amber was making comments with my own thing. That's funny. I was like, that's my face. That's fine. Okay. So, okay. Annie ate pita bread with hummus. That's great. There's a video on YouTube that you might have seen from the Hunger Games, and it's Katniss Everdeen going, pita, pita, and every time they have little pita bread, and it's really funny. It makes me laugh. But with 16 viewers, I think it's time to eat the umabushi. I must take off my beard because it gets in the way. Surprise. I'm just an average man with long hair. Okay. So, umabushi plums. I first saw this. They ate these on the Rhett and Link show. I actually talked about this last week. That I wanted to try this. I wanted to try these for a while, and I found some on Amazon. They were like uh, dried ones and hard ones and all kinds of stuff. But these, although they were $20, which is a lot. I think there's like 6 plums in here. But they were supposedly made by a famous Umabushi plum maker person, and they have been pickled, matured and pickled, I should say, for 3 years. They're supposed to be super sour and also salty. Um, so there's also, you eat this with rice usually, like I think they do it with sushi and stuff. But there was a challenge on YouTube to eat one, and people were just doing it and stuff. This may be the worst idea I've ever had. Pickly. So if my face turns weird and I start like coughing, I apologize. I get my nice little plate ready. Let's see, Umabushis. This one looks fat. I like that one. Look at that, Umabushi. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. So supposedly it's supposed to be sour with a nice sweet aftertaste. So I'm kind of nervous. Here we go. Ooh. mm. Yeah, that's that's salty, all right, with a nice that's it's like bitey sour. Apparently, there's a pit. That was fun to find out. Umabushi. Oh man. Luckily tonight I came with my juice. Ooh. Yep. This is a mistake too. Sour is all get out. The pit was what threw me off. Because it was like, I thought I was just going to be able to chew it. Not so much. I love the fact that you all are laughing at me. That's great. Thank you. Laughing at my pain and stuff. I'm not even for sure how you're supposed to eat with those with rice with the pits in them. This is, it's great. Well, the plum, Lenore says they should be sweet. They were actually kind of sweet after the really sour saltiness on top of it. Ooh, man. That's pretty good. Annie, I should order a pizza. Ooh, pizza. I've never had a pizza before. What are we, rich? So here's the thing. I still got some fruit left on this pit, and I feel like it's my duty to eat it. So, bon appetit. Let's see. mm. Yeah, so that might be good with rice, but that's salty. It's more salty than sour. Umabushi. Well, there's that. I've always wanted to do that. I think we're going to try to eat them. I'll see if Amber can make me some rice or something. That's sour. Mm. Okay. Umabushi plums. Ah, very nice. Mm. Oh, Rhonda just joined. I don't even know if she got to see me eat my umabushis. Let's see. You know, Rhonda likes my hat though. That's good. Virginia, you came out of nowhere. Another one of my KC friends. That's really exciting. I'm glad to see you. Um, ooh, so that was sour. I'm hoping that if Amber puts them in rice, it'll be halfway decent because I don't want to waste $20 on that single bite. But now I know it was good. Oreo chocolate, it's gonna be better. So Virginia's right in the comments there. She's the only circus folk I've met. She was such a cool person to meet. She walks on swords, or she does something. Saw her breathe fire one time. Um, she's a pretty crazy person, and her whole it's a family affair, and so it was a very unique person to have in my life, and I'm so glad that she's still around here. So, wow, Willie Wilson Warren has joined. Willie Wilson Warren was my youth minister. He's the reason that I do stupid stuff like eat sour things and all kinds of things. So that's fun to have him. So that story I told last week about the kid jumping and hitting the floor, and my youth minister being like, "Guys, that was mean to do." That was Willie Wilson Warren. So that's fun. That whole trip was that was a lot of fun. We went on 2 mission trips. One was to the Yacoma Indian Reservation, which was that story, and then the other one was we went to Saltillo, Mexico, and both times have been really interesting stories. When we went to Saltillo, I got off the plane and I went up to the guy who takes your passports, and I was expecting him to speak Spanish, and he was like, "A passport, please." And I was like, "Okay, I can do this. Passport, please." This guy speaks English. That's awesome. And then I was like, "Where is your bathroom?" And he was like, "I know speak English." Or, he said it in broken English. And I was like, "He just said very clearly, passport, please." So then I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have to do this the Spanish way. And so I walk up to a security guard and I was like, "Baño?" And he was like, "Down the hall on your left, sir." And I was like, okay. The guy I thought was going to speak English couldn't speak English. And the guy that I was sure wasn't going to be able to speak English spoke like proper English better than me. It was crazy. Well, in all of this, we end up leaving my bag with my passport and a backpack at the airport, and we drive to we drive to La Vasnaga, was the name of the village we stayed in, and we get there to find out I don't have my contact lens case, I don't have my passport, and all kinds of stuff. So the next day, everyone else gets up and they go to do their to work on the camp there, and we drive back into Saltillo with the missionary there. His name was Ernesto. And so we drive around, and he drives up to his house, and he goes, "Hey, I forgot my keys back at the church where we were staying." He's like, "I'm gonna pull the van up here, and if you could climb on top of the van and then climb through my balcony and come down and unlock the door, that way we can get into the house." And I was like, "Okay, sure." So I climb up, I go into the balcony. I'm just like, this is kind of weird. I feel like I break into this guy's house. It'd be weird if someone was in here. And there was his, I think it was his maid or someone was there, and she like got like this huge, like was like, what are you doing here? And because I'm just this white boy coming through the window, and I was like, Ernesto, Ernesto. And so then I went downstairs and opened the door, and then Ernesto was just like, Spanish. And she was like, oh, and then like walked away, and I never saw her again, which was kind of weird. Um, but it was one of the weirdest things I've ever done, breaking into someone's window. We also poured concrete on the concrete roof, which was very interesting because we mixed the concrete on the ground and put it in buckets and carried the buckets all the way to the top, poured a bucket and tossed it all the way down to someone that would catch it and fill it with concrete. And we had about 4 or 5 buckets going all at one time. That was interesting. I rode a donkey. I have a picture somewhere. I don't know where it is, but there's definitely a picture of my feet are like literally 6 inches off the ground on this donkey. And I was trying to get the donkey to go. And the kid that brought him, because we just told everyone, hey, we'll give you 50 pesos if you bring us something to ride up this mountain, which 50 pesos is pretty good money. It's about $5 American. And so then we looked out from the camp we were working at, and from La Vesnaga, we could see just this caravan of horses and donkeys and all kinds of stuff. And they finally brought up there, and I got on, and some like, he had to be like 8, was like, here, and handed me this piece of rebar, and he was like motioning that I need to hit the donkey to make it go. And so I was like, go donkey, and just like kind of hit it kind of thing. And he goes, no, and he takes it from me, and it just goes whack, and just hits this donkey, and the donkey was just like, just very slowly start walking. I was like, oh, you gotta just like slam this donkey in the rump with this piece of rebar, or it's not gonna go anywhere. But sure enough, it didn't care, and that was the only way to make the stupid thing move. And we rode it up, and it was a very interesting time. My favorite story, and then I'll get back to the comments, was we did a VBS, and there was this little 4-year, I want to say he was about 4, and his name was Roy. And this little 4-year-old boy that was at VBS. And our last night we had a piñata that we filled with candy, and they busted, and candy went everywhere. And Roy flips up his shirt, puts a bunch of candy in there, and then walks off with a bunch of the other kids. Well, then we see these older kids are riding up on bicycles and reaching in and just taking candy out of these kids' laps and kind of robbing them of their candy. And we're like, that's not good. So all us guys, because I'm very scary by myself, I have friends. We start walking down the path and just being like, go away, like just Vamonos, go away, kind of. And we're like, where's Roy? He's so young, we don't want him to get in trouble or anything like that. And so we do find Roy, and Roy has found himself, he's got up behind an overturned horse trough that was leaning up against the house, and he is just shoving candy in his mouth as fast as he can. Just like, he's like, I can't take it into my belly, and just, and he has wrappers everywhere. It was the cutest, funniest thing ever. We're like, you go, Roy, and then we just kind of walked on. But that was a lot of fun. I was always super nervous to go, but then it was always fun we were there. I actually have a poncho that Willie helped me get because he helped me barter with some lady who started us up at like $80 for it, and we talked her down to like $35. And it was just like, it was a rough time. She was a fast talker, but Willie's like, no, we can do this. And then I hate to embarrass Willie, but Willie decided the last night before we leave Mexico that he thinks he can get some ice in his cola at the mall we were at. And in case you don't know, in Mexico, you should not drink the water because of Montezuma's curse, where it sends you in the bathroom real quick, and that's what happened to Willie. Willie was in and out of the bathroom right before we had to get up and go flying, like every hour and stuff like that. I mean, I felt so bad for him. He was in a tough place. Even our heroes can, fall sometimes. But anyway, it was a great time, great memories. There's also pictures of me and my poncho passed out in the Dallas airport, which is pretty cool. Let's see what kind of comments we got going on now. Please share a weird story that you all experienced, because I'd like to read that. Virginia says, thanks for accepting her as she is. Of course, I wouldn't have you any other way. You are uniquely crazy. Hi, Cheyenne. Hello. Cheyenne's one of my former students. Willie's like, good old Jason. That's awesome. See, that's the kind of youth minister, remembering the last name of a kid that was 16 years ago. Amber says, poor donkey. I felt bad for beating the donkey as well. But it was, like I said, it didn't really mind it. Oh man. So yeah. Like I said, I never know what I'm going to talk about in these things. I like stories. I like telling stories. If I was ever to go back to school for a master's degree, you can actually get a master's in storytelling, and I think that's just super cool. Because I like telling stories. I like making people laugh. I told you all about that last week, of my need to make people laugh. That's why I enjoy doing this stuff with you guys, being goofy and stuff. My day was crazy today. We got the new internet installed, but with all technology, everything decided to fall apart at once. It was good times. But I think we're getting up there. But it made me laugh. Rhonda says I'm great at storytelling. Thanks, church mom. So what kind of stuff are you all doing to beat the boredom of being stuck at home? Amber and I actually had our anniversary on Tuesday, and we finally got around to watching The Greatest Showman, and I really enjoyed that. That was great. Except like I felt like I wanted more circus. Like it kept on being like, we're doing a circus, and it was like the last show of this, like the last set that they did in that circus that night, and I was just like, I want to see all the acts and stuff like that. Maybe I just need to go to a circus. Maybe when this is all over, Amber and I should go to a circus. I think it's fun. I think people are amazing. I like watching all that stuff. I'm getting all kinds of people I never expected to join. Hi, Jordan. Let's see. Jeremy, breaking leaves and playing games. I agree with the playing games. Jeremy is this person that he enjoys doing work. It's weird. I mean, I love him for it, but he's like, man, I'm so excited to have today off. I'm gonna go plant a tree. And I'm like, that sounds boring. That sounds like work, but it's not to him, which is, I'm all for it. But he's always planting trees and fixing his motorcycle and uploading videos and all kinds of techie stuff. And I'm glad he gets enjoyment out of it. I also benefit from it a lot of times. Jeremy's one of those people that you put him on to something. You're like, I wonder if I could do this with technology. And Jeremy's like, I will find a way. And then like I feel like he scurries away and like comes back with like, here's your 5 options, which is great. So sometimes it's I feel like he's a secret weapon. Like we'll be talking about something, and I'm like, it's time to contact Jeremy, and so we do, and then he comes back with the answer. That's why he was my best man at my wedding. Um, Colton, you've been clearing out your backlog. What do you mean by that? And he says that she likes The Greatest Showman. Yeah, I liked it. I wanted, like I said, I wanted more circus things. I was kind of let down by the Pretty Singer, how that ends up going. I was not a fan. Um, Jeremy's finding fun food for me. Uh, Jeremy lives in Wisconsin too, so like sometimes I'm like, oh man, it's 3 inches, and he's just like, I'm in 14 inches. He told me a story one time that he was cutting wood in Wisconsin. It was like 40 below, and it was him and his dad, and they had to take like shifts getting in and out of the truck every 10 minutes, so they didn't get frostbite and just other crazy things. I usually end his stories when he starts talking about how cold it was in Wisconsin by being like, and yes, we know. You cut open a polar bear and slept inside it to keep warm like it was a tauntaun. We get it. And then he always gives me that loving look and laughs at me. Um, Apparently, a lot of people like this Greatest Showman thing. I did really. I'm a huge musical person. Because you didn't know I like musicals. Um, and I love Hairspray and all those movie musicals. I've never actually got to. I don't think I've ever seen a musical live. I don't think so. I'd like to. I really would like to see Wicked. Um, like live. I know I don't have a chance to see it with the original cast, but I would really like to see Wicked. I think that'd be really cool. Um, I haven't tried the Bean Boozled jelly beans. I got Amber the jelly beans from Harry Potter that are kind of like that, but they are all these different flavors, and you never know what they are, like earwax and stuff like that. Um, oh, Colton's when he said backlog, he means he's playing through games he hasn't gotten to. Everything slowed down big time, so I finally have time to. I wish I had time to go through my games and stuff like that. I still have video. Maybe work will start slowing down now that the techie side of our church stuff has kind of started to slow down with getting the internet and all that stuff. Maybe I'll not be as busy, but I'm not complaining. I'm really glad that we're able to do this kind of stuff, but it was like, surprise, now you have a bunch of things that you never dreamed of doing. Um, Stuff like that. Rhonda says she likes this Jeremy guy. Guessing she means Jeremy. Jeremy. Um, Amber says, "Oh my gosh, Rhonda, if he showed up him and Clay together, I think he'd kill you." Yeah, there. If me and Micah, one of my other friends, me and Jeremy, me and Beef, when we get together, we feed off of each other, and it becomes an endless cycle. Which leads me to another classic Clay story. So every year that we go to National Youth Workers, something weird happens to us. Um, so two of my stories I'll tell. One, we went to so basically it's a bunch of youth workers together, and we can block out a space. And so that means we actually get to stay at these. I'll put this long hair in front of me so I look beautiful. We get to stay at these really nice hotels. So we went to this really nice hotel in Atlanta. You know it's nice because they had valet, and uh, so we show up and like it's a very like there's businessmen in business suits doing businessmen things, and it's everything's fancy and stuff. And Jeremy was wearing pajama pants because that's the comfiest way for him to drive, and he was our driver. Micah, in fear that he might not find a pillow that he liked, brought his own pillow from home to this nice hotel, and I had a garbage bag full of snacks. So we looked like we belonged. And so we go into this room where there's these golden elevators. You know, they look golden, shiny. And I just remarked, I was like, we do not belong here. I feel like we're hillbillies. And then it happened. You see, good old Clay here. I can do some silly things, and I can even do things that would be embarrassing. But as long as I do them, I'm fine. Um, Micah, however, has this really good ability, Micah and Jeremy, of doing things that embarrass me when I'm not ready to be embarrassed, and so it super embarrasses me. So Micah, who does not have an accent and is from Ohio, and I forgive him for that. There's a few good things that come from Ohio. Rhonda Courier's one of them. But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I just hear him go, "Oh my gosh, guys, look! It's them magic boxes I heard about on TV. I've never seen them in person. People go in, they don't come out. It's like magic. They just go in there and they just disappear." And then about that time, the door opens. He goes, "It's happening. We're going in. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared." And the door's closed. And I was just like, "I hate you." And he just busted out laughing, and Jeremy's laughing. And then we're kind of traveling and stuff like that. And there's all these, again, business people. Oh, yes, yes, yes. And finally, we're going up, and we're going back down. We're still dressed the same way. See, I'm wearing a Pac-Man shirt. I'm real serious. The doors open, and it's a woman wearing one of the National Youth Workers badges, and she sees us. She goes, "Oh, finally, my people." And we're like, "Welcome." And she comes in. She's like, "Why is everyone dressed so nicely?" And she was like a woman, probably in her. We were mid-20s, but she was probably in her 40s or something like that. We were like, "Come here, youth minister friends. We understand. We're weird together." But it was great. Another time on the elevator, Jeremy, we get all, it was kind of crowded and stuff, and we all get on, and Jeremy just turns around and goes, "So I guess you all are wondering why I brought you all here today." And I was just like, "Oh my gosh," I was so embarrassed. They love to do that to me. I also hate talking on the phone. So when we were in Cincinnati, they were like, "Okay, Clay, well, you have the credit card. You order pizza, we'll kind of just chip in." I was like, "Okay." And so as soon as I get on, they start heckling me. They're like saying the weird things to make me laugh. And like, again, I hate talking to people on the phone, especially like, and so I'm talking to Domino's, I think I was, and I'm like, "I'd like a pepperoni pizza," and they're just like, "Oh, are you flirting with her, Clay?" And like just all the stupid stuff. And I was just like, stop it. And they're just laughing all the more. They're horrible. They're horrible friends. I don't know why they're my friends, or I don't know why I'm friends with them. So anyway, we go downstairs to wait for said pizza, and it's midnight. And so, as you would expect, a wedding party comes in, because that's what wedding parties do, I guess, is go to bars and hotels at midnight. And these people are just smashed. They're drunk as all get out. And it's me, Micah, and Beef. And Beef sits down in this chair, and this huge, tall dude comes up to him and like just kind of like, it's obviously he's drunk, and he just kicks him a few times in the shoe and looks at him and goes, and then just walks away. And Beef was like, "I thought I was going to die." And we were like, "We thought you were too." But then we saw them. It was these two couples, and they were drunk as all get out, and they were walking towards the escalator, and we were like, "Oh yes, it is time." And so we kind of did that thing where you're like, "Oh, watching them, I just happen to be moving to a better vantage point for me to be looking at stuff," and because we really wanted to see this, like the guy was doing okay, but this woman was wearing heels and was just like rocking, like her heel, like her feet were doing this, like in her heels, like she was turning from side to side, like she's about to get on the escalator. And so we were watching her in case she fell, so we could help, not because we wanted to laugh, or thought this would be hilarious. And so she pulls up to the escalator, and her eyes get huge as she makes the realization we already made that she's got to get on this thing. And so she gets back like she's going to do like a running start, and then she like walks forward, and then she stops herself. And she steadies herself, walks backwards and walks forward, and stops herself. And then she steps back and she stops herself. And then she finally just like, and like it just runs and just jumps on it. So she gets on it. And so they're going down, and we were like, okay, well, nothing happened. And then Micah starts giggling like a schoolgirl. We're like, what? He's like, she's got to get off. And then we were like, oh. And so we go to watch this. And then again, about 3/4 of the way down, you see her go, I can't just make sure I'm ready to get off this thing. I have to get off because it's an escalator. It ends. And she was like, she charged up for it and stepped off and was just fine. But we thought she was going to wipe out. But it was weird stuff like that happens to us when we're at National Youth Workers. So those are other funny things in my life. Back to the comments. There's so many comments. Yes, we were in your Trailblazer, Jeremy, when we made that trip, which, you know, is the funsiest car you can have. Amber's replying to her sister, and I don't know what that's about, so we'll just move on. Oh, yeah, it is, Cody. I remember it is a wheel where you pick colors. So, yeah, I knew that. I should try that sometime. That'd be fun. Yes, we were hillbillies in the golden elevators, Rhonda. Rhonda is from Ohio. It's one of the few things that Ohio's produced that's worth anything. I'm just kidding. It's not that I have something against Ohio as much as I've never seen anyone happy in Ohio or spent any time with happy people in Ohio. And it's always raining. It's never sunny. I told you all last week that Demetri Martin pointed out that everyone makes a little laser sound when they're thinking, and now I'm doing it, and all I can think of is that. Oh, Jeremy is talking about it's. What do you think about the name of the game? Jeremy was "Don't Get Me Started." I think is what you are speaking of. Which how you play "Don't Get Me Started" is you go, hey, hey Jeremy, what do you think about butterflies? And you immediately have to decide that whatever that person just asked you about is the worst thing that you've ever heard about in your life. You're like, butterflies? I'll tell you what, don't even get me started about butterflies. So they start out as these worms that look disgusting. You should just stomp on them. And then they grow up and they just flutter around and put pollen on things and stuff. It's a nuisance. Why do we need them in this world? And like some of them are poisonous. I don't need that. And they just die places. And I have to clean up their stupid bodies and stuff like that. And it's butterflies. And everyone should love butterflies. The one that they got me on was what I thought about mops. And I went off on mops for about 2 minutes. It is a great crowd game. You are correct, Jeremy. Yes, Amber says that's her getting on escalator on normal circumstances. My wife is not very coordinated, which reminds me of another story. One time we were in, this has to do with Jeremy as well. One time we were at the Walmart, and Jeremy wanted to buy some canned air for his computer. And Amber had never heard of canned air before. And so she's like, what's that? And I saw that one of them had like the little thing missing. And I squeezed in with shh and shot out air. My wife gets startled is the other thing she does. And so she yeeped. She just yeep. And it was funny and stuff like that. But I was working at Walmart, I should point out. I worked in electronics when we were in college. And so I decided it was time for me to look like I was doing work. And so I walked off. And while Jeremy and Amber are just kind of like looking at TVs, because Jeremy likes to look at technology, as I've already put out. And then my head of security was like, I came over and I was like, what's up, Kelly? She's like, see those two over there? I was like, oh no, I'm in trouble. She goes, watch them. And I was like, why? And she's like, they were on that aisle over there huffing air. Because in case you don't know, you can huff that compressed air. Just so you know, kids, don't do that at home. That's a bad thing to do. It can like damage your brain cells and stuff. Um, but I did actually see one of my friends do it one time. Um, and it has stuff in it that's heavier than air, so it makes you sound like Darth Vader. There's actually a healthy gas you can do, you can breathe that does the same thing. I recommend that might be cool to do, but don't do this canned air. But they actually put stuff in there called Bittergent to make it taste nasty because people have it so much. Anyway, so I go up to Jeremy and I was like, dude, you've got to keep that can far away from your face because when Jeremy thinks about something, he goes, okay, and I go back to her and I was like, don't worry about them, they're fine. And she's like, you can't tell me that girl's not high. I was like, well, I've been dating her for a year and a half, so she's not high. But with Amber's clumsiness and all that stuff, I can completely see why they thought she was high. Because she laughs a lot and she's very clumsy. She's actually a lot less clumsy than she used to be. I used to always have to like hold her hand and her arm so she wouldn't fall over just walking. She does still just fall over standing up sometimes. She says that's when her ankle goes out, but who knows? Could be because she just forgets where the floor is. Um, Lenora, that would be a fun game to play with Greg. The going on rants and stuff like that. I think you'd be good at it. There's another game I have that's called Super Fight, and you just make up these make believe monsters, and then you fight about who would win. And like that, you flip over cards, so it's like Godzilla with a 2-ton tuna as a club, and then you like have a innocent little girl with a rocket launcher or something like that, and like you try to rant about who would win in a fight, and that's a lot of fun. It's called Super Fight. It's really cool. I only have like a trial version of it I got in my loot box, which is a mailing service. But it's there is a full version that I'd like to get one day. Um, Steven says I should eat flavored spiders next week. Amber will kill you if I do that. However, if you want to get me flavored spiders, I would be willing to eat them. And just will hide them from Amber because, like, I'll have to keep them out in the car or something until I'm ready to eat them, and she's safe away because she hates spiders. Let's see. I didn't even see that Erica was here, and Erica Caldwell was in here. So hi, Erica. Hi, Eden, if you're watching. I hope she's watching. She's such a cool girl. Amber does kill butterflies. It's her sad supervillain power. She said there for a whole year, Amber found upwards of like 40 dead butterflies, and we don't know why. It's quite crazy. Annie, you would be good at Don't Get Me Started. Annie and for y'all that don't know it, I constantly yell at her for no good reason because I think it's funny, and she yells back at me in a very playful way. It's great. Let's see. All kinds of people are joining now. Nope. Amber says nope. Jeremy's working on spiders. Alligator jerky. I've had different jerkies and stuff. I've had frog legs are really good. I like frog legs. I had alligator tail one time. I don't really remember what it tasted like, but I had alligator tail. I was like 10. Um, so yeah. Thank you guys for coming to hang out again. I think I'll come up with a more laid out plan for next week. kind of exhausted a bunch of our go-to food stuff. Um, but I enjoyed eating my plums, even though they were weird. The pit, I can't tell you how much the pit throws me off. I think I could have eaten it easier without the pit. Um, uh, Amber says nope to ugly, crawly Satan insects. Amber, oh, that actually gives me, or reminds me. So this week I was washing my hands at church before I had I was going to eat lunch, and I was washing my hands, and I was like, oh, that's a weird piece of blonde fuzz in my hair. I'll have to get that once my hands are dry. And then the blonde fuzz started to move because it was walking, and it was a little white spider um, that was in my hair, and then started walking down to my beard. Um, and I just bet on it not being poisonous. Amber will probably smack me at some point for this, but I walked into the office where Peyton was, and I was like, "Hey, look what I found!" And like, there's just a spider in my beard. So then I go back to the bathroom to take it off because I'm not a crazy person, and then I couldn't find it, and that actually did concern me. And then it was on my shirt, so I brushed it off. So no harm, no foul, but that was a crazy thing. Um, I don't really mind them. I actually would like to hold a tarantula one day. Um, just because I think that I don't know. I just want to do that. Um, when I was younger, I had a black rat snake we found in our rafters that we decided to keep as a pet and feed it mice and fun stuff. Um, and one time, my cousins came over, and my dad decided to get the snake out to show people. Now, black rat snake, it eats rats. It sounds like it close to a rattler snake, which would be a bad thing, but this was no problem at all. Um, and he got it down. It was super nervous because there's like a bunch of people and stuff like that. And this just tells you how loving of a person I am. I genuinely wanted the snake to calm down, and so I went like this. It's okay, snake, and got that close to its face. And the snake did not like that, actually. Go figure. Didn't see that coming. It most certainly struck my face, and it happened so fast that I didn't even know something had happened until all my relatives went, oh. And I was like, what? What? And then I start feeling blood on my cheek because it bit me. And my dad, I don't even remember where my dad put the snake. My dad's a firefighter, um, or he was an election firefighter for 37 years, a very, very long time. So sometimes my dad does what I call Captain Parker mode, where he ceases to be my father and becomes the superhero that's just like, this is how we will save this situation. And this was one of those times. Um, I swear he said, "Come with me if you want to live." That's not what he said, but he did put the snake somewhere and was just like, "Clay, come with me," and took me upstairs to his bathroom and got out some peroxide and some alcohol and cleaned the wound and stuff like that. I don't even remember what it looked like. I just remember sticking my face in his face. I was like 6. I remember my family going, and then I remember the feel like my face was warm from the bite. Um, but it happened so fast. Uh, but yeah, that was my whole thing with the snake. My neighbor would have rat snakes and stuff like be on her porch, and she'd call me and my dad to come over and take them off the porch. Um, and so yeah, we go over there, and that was like our job. Snakes are always crazy because you have to like figure out a way to get them by their head so they don't bite you. And that was always the hard part for me. I'm not necessarily afraid of snakes. I actually kind of like them, but if they're uh, rowdy and want to bite, they become a little bit of a problem. Um, I don't know what part I didn't tell you, wife. So you'll have to tell me. Um, Colton says he has to psych himself up to kill stink bugs. That's funny. My nephew Drake became very concerned with stink bugs one time and like was sure they were on the ceiling and all kinds of stuff. And we're like, they're fine. They're just stink bugs. We'll get them out here and stuff like that. Yeah, Miss Rhonda does not like snakes. She actually my grandmother hated snakes too, and um, I just remember that like she lived in Florida and she just absolutely hated snakes, and I think she killed a lot with a shovel. Um, my grandmother had this porch in her backyard that was really cool. It was screened in and stuff, and they have little green anoles, little chameleon looking things that live in Florida, and she'd get like I don't know. Usually I could go out there and there'd be 10, 15 of those little anoles running around and stuff like that. It was really cool. Um, I've always liked animals. Maybe that's what we'll talk about next week is our favorite animals. Um, I'll go ahead and tell you my favorite animal is called the cotton top tamarin. Cotton top tamarin. They look like you took a gorilla and then put it on a tiny monkey that's only like this big. Um, but they're like dark with just white hair. Um, and they're so cute. They're at the Louisville Zoo and so on and so forth. I really want to go back to the zoo and the aquarium. I'm sick of this quarantine stuff. Amber and I just bought a membership to the aquarium. Um, so I wish we could go do that. I think the Newport Aquarium is supposed to have a eel exhibit now. Amber and I actually are talking for like our anniversary thing once this is all done is we want to do like a tour of aquariums and go to the Atlanta Aquarium, which has a whale shark, which is supposed to be like a pretty big being. Let's see that. Stop at Ripley's Aquarium in Gatlinburg, Newport Aquarium. I think there's an aquarium in Cincinnati. There's probably some aquariums along that way. And just kind of like make a trip through all those aquariums. I absolutely love the water. That's my favorite thing. Well, it looks like it's midnight, so thank you all for hanging out with me, listening to my stories. Hopefully it eased your all's minds and gave you something to think about. So stay tuned for all our different things we're doing. Tomorrow we'll have Rhonda, I forget what we call it, Rhonda's thing for her Kid Space stuff gets released. Yours truly is in it again. Last week we had there's a part when Peyton and I were being silly and I went, "Run, boy!" And when I did that, apparently it was hilarious to all the kids, and I have been mimicked, and people have made videos of their kids doing it. So a great honor, truly. So you should watch that. It's silly. We had a good time making them. Peyton and I make a lot of videos, and he's goofy. I enjoy it. And also, we had a beautiful co-star this time around. So that's my wife, in case you didn't. I'm not calling someone else beautiful. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pray, and then we'll just end this. But you all stay safe, stay happy, try to find something to laugh at, come up with goofy things, find goofy things to eat, and then tell me about them next week when we do Midnight Snacks with Clay. So let's pray. God, we just want to thank you for this time that we can be goofy, that we can talk about silly stories and share different things. We want to pray for our country in this moment, all the coronavirus stuff, be with all those that are researching that, be with all those that are sick, be with all these people who are trying to navigate through this troubled time. Help us to remember that you are in charge, that you are our hope, and that we have forever to spend with you in heaven. We love you so much. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Well, I like to always end my videos with saying I love you guys, and there's nothing you can do about it. So deal with it until I see you again. Bye.